Crap with Beth and Matt. Cut to Crap is the world's #1 no bullshit health and fitness podcast. All right, welcome back to another episode. We've got a high energy and informative episode this week. We are chatting with Eric Roberts from Eric Roberts Fitness. We talk about his own fat loss journey that he just finished, losing fat without tracking calories, your actions meeting your goals. You do not want to miss that one. The relationship between alcohol and fitness, and so much more. Let's get into it.
And
what's up, guys? Matt, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing well, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Wait, you guys can see me, right? Yes,
yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah, you look
Perfect.
beautiful.
Well, I was supposed to say I can't see myself, so I can't see my beautiful self. All right, I guess I'll just.
You can't see yourself.
It's okay.
You can't see yourself.
No, but that's fine. That's okay. I'm not that cute anyway, so it's all good. It's all good.
Oh, come on. You're a good-looking man. Stop.
Well, thank you, Beth. I sincerely appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
my mom still tells me my mom will still text me to this day, like, my beautiful, handsome little boy, how are you? I'm like, Jesus, Mom. Like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm great, Mom. How are you? Like, it's all great. Like,
yeah.
Of course, you got to respond to Mom, right?
A mother's love for her son. You know, I every time my mom always tells me, "I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you," and blah blah blah. Like, I know, Mom. Thank you. I love you too.
Oh, I love that. I'm a boy mom, so that's me. I love my little boy. Yeah.
Yep. I can absolutely relate. So
my mom
what's
takes
going
it a
on,
step
guys?
further. Actually, she comes onto my TikTok videos and comments all the time.
Yep, my mom does that too.
Oh,
yep.
shit.
I actually tell her, I'm like, Mom, please don't do that, because some of these people are fucking crazy, and like, I don't like, if they start talking to you, I'm gonna actually have to shoot them. So I'm like, let's stay away from that. She's like, oh, okay, I just want to help. I'm like, it's okay, like, I'm doing all right. It's all good. Like, you don't need help.
Help behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'm like, thanks a lot, Mom, but definitely don't comment. And like, she'll come on my lives, be like, oh, hi, my son. I'm like, Mom, fuck. I'm like, no, don't do that, man. Yeah, I'm like, I don't need these people knowing you're my mom, because I'm like, I will actually, because I mean, as you guys both know on TikTok, right? Like, there's just some. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I'm like, yeah, I don't need that, because I'll just have to kill somebody, and yeah, it just won't be a fun time. So yeah I'm like, yeah, thanks, Mom, love you and all, but absolutely,
we don't need a felony charge for sure.
As of right now, no, I'm good without it for right now, at least. Who knows?
Sure.
It might change in the future.
Now,
but yeah. So,
Where do you live, Eric?
I am in Northern Virginia, so I'm actually not too far from Susan Niebergall.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Nice.
Have you guys ever met?
Yeah. So. Susan and I have not met. No, we've talked a few times about like working out and stuff like that, but we just haven't gotten around to it yet. I know she's pretty busy. I know I'm pretty busy, so we're gonna get it in here soon, but it just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be when that woman's a fucking beast,
right?
Man. Like, just absolutely a goddamn beast. Like,
She
it's
really
scary.
is.
It's almost like scary. I'm like, Susan, you're literally my role model. But yeah, so hopefully soon.
And we had her on the podcast a month ago, and it was awesome.
That's awesome.
Incredible. Beth and I are actually, we've never met, of course, and we're talking about meeting like in the springtime and going and like doing a hike or something. So that'll be cool if we do that.
Yeah,
that'd be sick. Yeah, one of my clients was telling me today about a hike, and I'm like, if I did a hike, I'd like legit probably die. Like, I'm always so envious of people who do hikes, because like, number one, it's not easy, it's super hard, but also number two, like, just like super cool views. I'm like, oh, like all I ever do is like I'm in my apartment all day long, right? So I like walk my little like track here around my apartment complex. Like, that's really all I see. I'm like, maybe I'll do a hike one of these days, but I'm like, yeah, that sounds really hard. So I don't know.
Well,
like, we'll see. I actually don't know if it is or not. I've never really given it a fair shot. That's what I'll say. I've never given it a fair shot. So maybe one of these days I might have to try it.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. I'm in love with hiking. That's my favorite thing to do right now.
Dude, everyone who hikes says that.
And it's how would you describe it, Beth? It's just a way
to
be
it's
by
like
yourself.
I call it like vitamin nature, vitamin N. It's like legit. You let go of every like worry. It's like you recharge. Mm-hmm. There's something about being in the mountains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's like, that's how I'm like, so that's super intriguing to me, honestly, because like I have my vacation coming up soon here in about like 10 days actually, like, but who's counting, right? But yeah, so like, I have that coming up. And like, when I went to so last year I took my first vacation in like 8 years, I want to say like 7 or 8 years. And when I did that, I was like, like from everything, I was like, no emails, no social media, no nothing. And I was like, wow, this is really sweet. I'm like, I want to do this more. And so like I have this coming up. I plan to do the same thing where, I already told all my clients, like I'm not answering emails. I'm not doing check-ins, things of that nature. And I'm like really looking forward to that because it's just, I don't do that quite often. I obviously, as we all have online businesses and stuff, like, have to be, pretty much on 24/7, right? So it's like, definitely looking forward to that. So might have to look into it for sure. It's something that is intriguing to me.
Is that when you went to California? Was it California last year when you were like near the ocean?
I went to Mexico last year. Yeah, so I went to Cabo last year. Yeah, so nice. It was nice. It was great. It was awesome. So I'm definitely looking forward to it again this year. Yeah.
So are you just completely like you're having someone else like take care of your clients and everything? Oh my God.
I'm not. Well, I already told all my clients. I did this last year. I did this last year. I was like, hey, I'm gonna be gone for a week, and honestly, all my clients are super fucking cool. Yeah. So, and plus, I have I think like you, Beth. I'm not sure about Matt, but I know you have an assistant coach too, Beth. Mm-hmm. So, I know like in my group coaching program, for example, my assistant coach is gonna run that. All will be good to go there, and the group will be good to go there. But I told my clients, I was like, hey, man, like I'm gonna be gone for a week, like not gonna answer emails, and every single one because as I'm sure you guys too, like, so all the time, always answering emails, always doing check-ins. And they're like, listen, go take a fucking break, buddy. They're like, thank you for finally doing something. You know what I mean? So they're super cool with it. And I already told them up front, and, I'll make sure, everyone has their plans and we're all good to go. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it, to say the least. Yeah.
Do you find it hard to like not work or not constantly
incredibly
think
hard?
Incredibly. Same. I feel like hard. I try to like not work on the weekends, and I'm still doing media. It.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something that Beth and I talk about a lot. And this goes down to our clients then too, right? Like if we always tell our clients, if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of others, right? And that applies to us too. We will burn out if we're not setting those boundaries for ourselves. And my clients will yell at me when I'm away and I check in with them. They're like, you're supposed to be having downtime. Yeah. I'm like, I know.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's seriously one of the toughest things for me. I've actually gone back and forth a few times about going to see a therapist about it or not. I don't know if I think I can, I don't know. I might, who knows? But it's definitely something where like, listen, since like I got back from, my trip last year, like Christmas, Thanksgiving, every weekend, it's like every single day. It's been every single day. Right. So it's like, I think I'm getting better at trying to find that balance, and I'm, experimenting with different things now. Like, for example, like, I used to write articles every single week, right? I've done it for the past almost 2 years now, right? And, cool. After next week, I'm going to stop writing articles. And so it's like, taking some time here. So I'm experimenting with some different things, but yeah, I mean, it's incredibly fucking difficult. Yeah.
So when did you start Eric Roberts Fitness?
So I would say around August of 2019 is when I started coaching people online under like my own kind of thing. Because I was training people in person. In August of 2019, I was training people in person for roughly 3 years at that point. So a little over 3 years. So at that point in time, I was coaching people in person, but I wanted to do nutrition because I was like, all right, like people need help with fucking nutrition, right? Like that's the biggest thing, right? So it's like, I started doing that for my in-person clients, and then that kind of, it was kind of going here, kind of going there. I probably had like, 3, 4, 5 clients. It was kind of, growing, whatever the case may be. And then obviously COVID hit, and then obviously I could not train in the gym anymore. So March of 2020 is kind of when like, just kind of like full circle things came about. And ever since then, it's just been like, just fucking head down nonstop kind of thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We joined the mentorship at the same time. I'm sorry, Matt.
Oh, really, Beth? Yeah.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
Did we join the mentorship at the same time?
Yeah. So I think I joined right around like that.
January of 2020.
Yeah, like somewhere around that time period. Because that's why I started writing articles. And I was like, all right, like I'm going to start writing articles and doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, for sure.
What were you going to say, Matt? Sorry.
Did you start around the TikTok around March 2020 then as well? Because I think that's like right when I started, and Beth and I connected probably shortly after that.
So I started TikTok around, actually, I know the exact date, May 26, 2020, because I was in, because I was, the day my life changed forever.
Truly.
No, it's been great. But so I remember because I was watching one of the Q&As inside the mentorship, and somebody asked a question about TikTok, and Jordan was just like, just like get on it today. And I was like, all right, well, Jordan says so. I'll fucking do it. So I literally that day I started just making videos. I made 3 videos a day every day for like a year and a half straight.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So that was the start of it because it was like 5 days before my birthday. Because my birthday's May 31st. So it was like 5 days before then, and then. From there, just every single day since then. Yeah, good.
That's too much. Yeah, I think like I think that's what was that when Jordan did like the 30-day TikTok challenge?
I
Post every day in TikTok.
Honestly, I don't know. All I know is like there he was having like a live Q&A like they kind of do like every week or 2 weeks or whatever. And I just remember like him saying, "Hey, like whoever was watching this needs to get on TikTok." And I was like, all right, like fuck it, like I guess I'll do it. So that's literally like that night. That's what I did. I was like, all right, cool. Like we'll see what happens. And yeah, obviously.
Wow. Do you remember your first viral video?
I think it was like top 5 low calorie foods. And I think it had like 100,000 views or 120,000 views at the time. And like I had like 1,000 followers, 2,000 followers. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then now I'm like, when I get like a viral video, I'm like, oh God, I know it's going to come from this. I'm like, nothing but just random ass comments and just fucking, I'm like, but yeah, so that was, I think, and again, that was probably, I'd say maybe 2 weeks in, somewhere around there.
Wow.
So you had your first viral video that quickly. Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was just like a simple, like, hey, here's some Greek yogurt and here's like watermelon, and it's like, okay.
When I first started, I was doing the pointing everywhere. I wasn't even talking, you know. I did the list, like you said, top 5 this or that, and I was just pointing everywhere, and those ones always did really well. So until they didn't, of course, but lots of hate comments with that territory too. So with anything you do on TikTok,
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you handle the hate comments? Because that's a tough one.
Honestly, honestly, I don't look at many comments anymore. I'm trying to spend way less time on my phone, just in general. Like in the past couple weeks here, like even like listening to podcasts and stuff, I'm trying to spend way less time on my phone. Like when I wake up, so I wake up around like anywhere from 4 to 4:30 type thing, but I won't go on my phone until 11 o'clock when I have to make my first Instagram post. And so I'll go that entire time just straight like productive work. I'll work out, whatever, and then I'll just like straight like emails, programs, doing podcasts, whatever the case may be. And I'll kind of have that time. Then I'll make my kind of Instagram post and I'll answer some DMs and some comments and stuff like that. And I'll usually hold off on TikTok until later in the night because I just don't want it to ruin my day. So I'll usually hold off on that until later, like when I have to make my posts. I'll make some posts around like maybe 5, 6, 7 p.m. and I'll try to answer some comments like that. But yeah, I've just been taking a step back from it, honestly, which I don't know if is good or bad, but I think right now it's just what I wanted to do. So that's what I'm trying to do.
I think that's a good thing, especially for your mental health. But the fact that you're literally awake for 6 or 7 hours before you start getting into social media, that's huge because that can be a big time suck, you know, and energy too.
Oh yeah.
So that's amazing.
I feel like once you build a platform, you kind of don't have to grind as much on the posting. Like you're like, all right, fuck it. And I can just, you know, post when I want. And then like, I don't know about you guys, but I just find myself like, I don't even know what I want to talk about today. So I'm just, you know, I don't go from the pointing things now. I just start saying shit.
For sure.
That's honestly like, I'm at that point where, again, like, so I said, I started in May of 2020 and it's now, you know, November of 2021. And I'm just like, I've posted at least twice a day, every single day since then. I'm like, what the fuck do I talk about? I'm like, shit, man. I'm like, so I try to, so that's when sometimes I like try, like, you know, reply to comments and stuff like that. But I am finding it hard to like, you know, make sure I keep like, because I could say the same shit over and over, which like, I, you know, to an extent I do, but like, and I know people do enjoy it, but it's like, well, I kind of want to enjoy what I'm doing too. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's sometimes hard to find that balance. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How many videos can we make about the calorie deficit or strength training? And this, we've covered, we have this conversation all the time. We've covered it. So what else can we talk about? So then it's just about just having fun with it, you know? So a lot of the times I'm just doing stupid shit at this point. Like I'll throw on my wig and record a video or just do something goofy and just duet people and have fun with it. And,
I just respond to the troll comments and
yeah, those are always fun too.
I'm like, all right, you want to fuck with me? Let's go blast you because I have nothing else to say. So
Beth is trying to catch that felony, but it's on TikTok.
I know. Seriously. I did it to somebody. Actually, Beth, it's funny. I did it to somebody yesterday because I saw one of the videos you did to somebody, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna be like Beth today. I was like, I'm just gonna fucking reply to this fucking comment. Like and it's funny because people are like, people will come like, hey, why do you give this person your time? And I'm like, dude, you don't understand. Like, this is hilarious to me.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is fucking funny. I'm like, that's why.
That's how I feel because it's a change from what I'm doing. And it's like, you know what? Absolutely. I think sometimes being silent about something is worse than actually facing it because, you know, if someone's going to shame or body shame you, it's like, I'm not going to let it go. I'm going to address it because I'm going to help we have a platform and we have a voice, right? And I'm going to speak for everyone that can't. It's like, that's not cool to come on someone else's page and give them shit for you look this way or that way. So, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beth, didn't you just made a video like that the other day? Somebody was shaming you that you didn't even look
Someone
fit
said,
or something.
You're not even skinny. Like, you're skinny fat. And if you want
that
to,
is probably the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, it was crazy. I was like, and she called me sis, and I was like, oh, fuck you. I'm not your sis. Hey.
I'm not your sis, sis.
And then I just said, I'm trying to be strong as fuck. I'm not trying to be skinny.
Yeah. That's hilarious, man. That's a great way of like looking at it too, and that's what we talk about. Like, who cares about being skinny? Like I say, strong is the new skinny, right? Like, focus on being stronger and making measurable progress with your strength training, and improving the quality of your life. And then that other stuff is gonna happen as a result of that, right? It's crazy. Yeah. So Eric, dude, didn't you just get done with a little cut? You dropped some body fat recently, didn't you?
Yeah. I have 1 more week, thank God. I have 1 more week, and so it's I started on September 3rd, so we're on November 17th, right? So every single day, calorie deficit, walking 5,000 steps per day, strength training 5 times per week. I'm not counting calories, so I don't know the exact calories, but I actually started off with I did a rough estimate kind of when I started. I think it was around and people are gonna be like, "Oh, fuck you, Eric." But I think it was around 2,800 calories to start with. But again, I was 6'4", 250, right? So it's that's obviously a different thing there. But so started off. I would say probably I'm now down to this last week or so has been a little rough. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm having to get 10,000 steps per day when I was literally only getting 1,000 beforehand because I was just at my desk all day long, which is not good. I don't promote that, but So I'm trying to get now 8,000 to 10,000 steps per day, and kind of getting down to the last nitty gritty here. But so I've lost 22 pounds. It's been almost 11. It's been actually 11 weeks on Friday, so down 22 pounds as of today. And it's been fun. It's been really cool to document this. I know Jordan does his cuts and documents those and so on and so forth. But it's been cool because the amount of people who have just been like for example, my weight fluctuations, right? The big thing when this cut was after every single Monday leg day, my weight spikes up every single time, and everyone's like, this is crazy every single day, every single time. And I'm like, it's normal. It's all good. And even one of my clients, obviously clients watch our stuff and whatnot, but it's her weight spiked up after leg day. And then she checked in and she was like, it's all good though, because I know it's post leg day. And I'm like, there you go, motherfucker. There you go. So it's been cool. I've hopefully helped people on the process. And I've done every single week I've done a podcast, updating kind of my changes and kind of all that stuff and the adjustments. So I people can kind of see that as well. But it's been really cool. It's been fun. And hopefully people have learned something from it. But that's where, again, people they're being very, very kind, but it's just oh my God, Eric, you look so good. And I'm like, I appreciate it. It's a thank you, but it's I'm not going to stay this level of lean because I don't want to. It's not fun for me. I don't want to be this level of leanness. And so it's I've been very open and honest. I don't intend on maintain, nor do I want to maintain this. It's just not something I want to do. I'm doing this because going on a little vacation and because I wanted to challenge myself. But after that, it's I don't want to be this level of lean. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but I've been very open and honest about it's not something that I would promote somebody doing, because it's been a bit especially for normal people. This is kind of the way I live anyway. But it's I'm not going out to eat. I don't go out on the weekends. Right. I don't drink alcohol. You know what I mean? So it's it's a very a more quote unquote, I guess you would call it, restrictive kind of style. But it's what how I live my life anyway. Just because I just enjoy the way I do. But so it's been fun. It's been cool, and that's what I'd say.
I love how you show on your stories how simple fucking meal prep can be. You know what I mean? Because people they overcomplicate the living fuck out of it. They want to make meals that have 8,000 ingredients. And you're just look,
3 ingredients. That's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You don't need to. You dump in the fucking bag of veggies, and, and you're throwing the chicken in the crock pot, and it's right.
It's because again, I tell everybody I'm a closet lazy person. Like I am not fucking taking this extra time to like do this fucking complicated meal prep. I'm just not doing it. Like fuck off. Like I'm not doing it. Right. So, and I learned that earlier on because like when I was like 16, 17, 18, I had to buy my own groceries and cook my own food because my parents were like, hey, if you're eating all this motherfucking food, like have fun doing it by yourself. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, all right, like, well, I gotta figure out what's going on, right? So I was like, well, how can I have no clue how to really cook because I didn't really fucking know anything. So I was like, all right, I can use a crock pot, I can use an Instant Pot, I can use this, I can use that. And it's like, it was just so super simple, but that allows me to be so consistent because it's just like, again, I like right now, I always have food in my fridge, always, no matter what, I always have food. And I found like easy options. Like for example, the rice I buy rice at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, and I buy the frozen white jasmine rice. That's what I buy. It's but the only ingredient is jasmine rice. And like, oh my God, frozen food. Like, dude, give me a motherfucking break. Like, it's so simple. You put it in the microwave and it's like 3-4 minutes and you're done. And like, I don't got to cook rice. Same with my vegetables. I have frozen spinach. Like I just put it in the microwave. And again, the only ingredient is spinach. And like, it's so fucking easy. I buy pre-made salad bags. Like it's just easy as holy hell. And like I wish people would understand, like, and I get it again, like I get some people don't like to whatever you call it, eat the same food every day, but I always push back and I'm like, well, if you like what you're eating, then like it's really not that big of a deal. Like I like what I'm eating. Like I thoroughly enjoy eating rice and eating these salads. And like I'm gonna miss eating so many salads when I go into a calorie surplus because I just get so full from them, right? So I won't be able to eat them as much, right? But it's like I enjoy the food that I'm eating, and so I think it's like a combination of that kind of stuff. But again, I'm always like, just keep it simple, bro. Like just like, because when you start, this shit is people overcomplicate it and it's already not easy to begin with. Like it does take time. It does take effort. It does take all those things. But the more you try to overcomplicate things, you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball that much more. Like why would you not make things easier? Why would you not make things? And again, like you have your meal or have your this, have your that, whatever. But like, a majority of your food, keep it just simple as hell, and you're gonna see better progress. Like one of my clients, she went from 400 pounds to like 175 pounds right now.
Damn,
and like what she talks about is like, she's like, Eric, my food is so simple. Every day I have the same 2 or 3 breakfasts and like the same 2 or 3 lunches. Same, like I'll have this and I'll have that and I'll go out to eat here and there. But even when I go out to eat, I'm going to get the salmon and the this and the that because number one, I actually enjoy it. But number two, I know it's simple. I know it works. I know it doesn't work. I know I'm not going to go off and go crazy. It's like she keeps things so simple. And like I actually have to, she sent me somebody's video and she was like, it said like, oh, food is fuel, and then they were like, hey, food isn't just fuel, and she was like, no, food is just fuel. I'm like, well, listen, like Leah, like it's all good, like food is more than fuel, like you know what I mean, but it is fuel. But what she was saying, she was like, I keep things simple to kind of what she calls it is like take the mental stupid out of it, because if not, she would like sabotage herself because there's so many things going on. She's like, I just keep it simple, and that's how I've seen this tremendous progress thus far. So I think there's definitely something to be said for that for sure.
Yeah, that works for some people, keeping it simple. I love to keep it simple too. It sounds like we're the same way with our meal preps. I always just do my protein, and then I do either fresh veggies or I'll have the steamables, right? And same with my carb source as well. Or I'll do sweet potatoes in the microwave and things like that. But keep it simple. It takes me 5 minutes then to warm up my food afterwards.
Yeah,
exactly.
How do you, let's say you have like a mom that has a family, like what do you tell them to do? Like how to prepare like a family meal if they want to eat the same and like still lose weight?
Well, I think it depends. Like, actually, it's funny. I had somebody in my clubhouse ask me this question it was a weekly Q&A, like I think a week or two ago, and she was like, well, do I make the same meal for me? Do I don't make the same meal for me? Do I have a different meal? My husband wants this, my kids want that, and and I was like, it's tough because I always have to preface it like, I'm not a parent, so I don't, I'm not a parent. I don't know how hard it can be sometimes. I get you, like you want to satisfy everybody. I get it, but I was like, when I basically told her, I was like, listen, like you're the mom, like you're the boss, like whatever you say goes, and like I guess the way I was brought up was like, here's dinner. Like, if you don't want it, like, have fun. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you're going to find something else out yourself. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm fucking having dinner no matter what the dinner is because I'm starving. Like, I don't want to make food for myself. Yeah, exactly. But and again, like that's the kind of subject for me where it's like like I don't know if I want to touch into that, but I just told her I was like, hey, listen, like you're the boss, you're the mom. Like if you want to say, hey, we're having the same thing, have the same thing. If you want to say, hey, I'm making this for me, and like I know like my assistant, for example, she was huge on when she first started working with me as a client. She was big on making her own dinner because she was like, you know what, these are my goals. This is what I have to do. This is what I want to do. This is what's going to work for me, especially earlier on in my journey when, things are kind of difficult. I'm trying to figure things out. And so she made her dinners like for her, and like she would make food for her family or husband, whatever. But she was like, this is what I'm having for dinner because I know it's going to help me get to my goals. And she was like, especially earlier on, that helped her be more consistent, which helped her see more results, which helped her be, stay motivated, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if there's a right or a wrong answer, but the thing I always go back to is like, no matter what, you can always control your portion size, right? You can always control your portion size. You can always control how much you're eating. So even if you are having, some meal that might not be the quote unquote healthiest or a little bit more calorie dense or whatever, it's like just portion size, like, and again, you can still make a recipe and have, hey, I had X amount or X grams of this, X grams of that. You can do the recipe in MyFitnessPal, have it out. You can see how many calories it is. Like you can do that. It's just like, just know that you might have to eat less of that particular thing because you can't have a big ass salad and all this food because you're having this pot pie or whatever the case may be. And it's like, just play that game of going back and forth on that. But I don't think there's a right answer. I just encourage people to kind of like, what's right for you at that moment in time. If I have somebody who's like, I gotta be fucking consistent, man. Like I gotta do this. I'm like, hey, like maybe, just for 2, 3, 4 weeks, like maybe you do want to cook your own dinners. And then, as time goes on, you get more comfortable with learning about food, learning about proper portion sizes, learning those things, feeling more confident. Then you'll be able to go into like maybe not having to make 2 separate things. Or again, if your kids are like, I don't fucking want this, then, just do what Mark and Anita Roberts did and said, hey, that's fun. Like go eat cereal. Then I'm like, all right, well, I actually want this. I want this meatloaf. So whatever, I'm going to eat this. So, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, but that's kind of how I approach it.
Yeah. Agree.
Yeah, my son and I certainly don't eat the same things the majority of the time. He's 11 years old, so he eats a lot more pizza rolls and things like that than I do. Of course, I love pizza rolls, but he doesn't want to eat my steak that I'm making, which hurts my heart. But pizza rolls it is, I guess. For sure. So you mentioned a lot of good things in there. Going back to you said you weren't tracking calories, right? Mm-hmm. So that's all. People are really confused on how you can lose fat without tracking calories and counting calories. So let's talk about that because I think we could all really contribute a lot to that conversation. So what was your approach to losing fat without counting calories?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. So here's what I'll preface all this by saying. I tracked my calories every day for 3 years straight. And that's through vacations. That's through every single meal. That's through going out to eat with friends. That's through every single thing. That's how, like, I know, for example, there's like certain meals at Applebee's because I used to be like just on the forever bulking phase where I was like just trying to eat 8,000 calories a day. And like there's certain meals, they have the 2 for $20. So I would get 2 appetizers of chicken wings. I would get 2 entrees, and like it would be like 4,000 calories. And like, so I know that. But the point being is, I tracked my calories for an extended period of time where most people would say, "Hey, it's a bit obsessive or a bit much," and like maybe it was, but like I learned so much about food and proper portion sizes, and I can look at a meal and tell you how many calories it is. Like, for example, when my clients go out to eat, I'm like, hey, shoot me a picture of that meal, and like we can play a fun game on like how many calories that is, and we can guesstimate how many calories it is. Because like, yeah, because like that way it kind of takes the fun. Puts it some fun, but also like I can tell them like, hey, you think you're eating 400 calories? Like that meal is actually 800 calories. Like Cheryl, like so this might be why some things are going on here, but I tracked calories for so long that I'm able to now know. I can look at some rice. I can look at a piece of meat. I can look at this. I can look at that. And I know how many calories that is. And so that obviously plays into part where I don't have to necessarily track my calories, but I'm pretty much tracking my calories, right? So I think that's the first thing. And the second thing, again, going back to like, I literally ate the same thing every single day, which I don't recommend most individuals doing because they would just lose their fucking mind, which is like, cool. I, to each his own. I totally get it. But like, it's really easy to be like, okay, cool. Am I losing fat? Yes. Cool. Keep eating the same thing. Am I not losing fat? Okay, I'm not losing fat. Cool. I'll take away a half a cup of rice there. And like, okay, I'm losing fat now magically. Well, it's like, yeah, because when you eat pretty much the same exact thing every single day, you know your exact calorie intake. So you make these slight tweaks here and there that can then lead you to then be able to, get yourself in the calorie deficit and keep losing body fat. So I think those 2 things for me, again, like number one, it's really hard work up front to track your calories for that long and truly know how many calories you're eating. And then number two, again, I've been saying this entire time, most people aren't going to do what I do, nor do I want them to do what I do. So it's like, I can eat the same exact thing every single day at every single meal and be totally fine. But it makes it so easy for me to make adjustments and know how many calories I'm eating because I just make one small tweak here and there, and that kickstarts the progress again. Yeah. So I think that's kind of where my kind of 2 cents goes into that.
Nice.
For sure. I think the tracking of the calories thing, I prefer most of my clients to track, at least starting out, to raise that awareness, right? Yeah. I tracked macros religiously for 2 years, and that gave me my very good understanding. That was before I ever even got into coaching, So that gave me that awareness. So now I don't need to do that anymore. And I don't know if I ever will again, because I, like you said, you know how to do that tuning. You can add more, take away, depending on what your goals are. Because I haven't tracked calories myself, and other than doing experiments on TikTok, like over a couple of years, honestly. So, prioritizing that protein really is where it all starts. At least for me, I prioritize protein, and then the rest takes care of itself. Honestly, you're eating enough protein, you're gonna be satiated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're eating enough protein, then also you have I always tell people, I'm like, hey, listen, I have the same 3 to 6 carb sources every day. I got white rice, I got sweet potatoes, I got my fruits, I got my rice cakes, and that's it. That's it, right? So it's how much can I really overeat on sweet potato? How much can I really overeat on, it's I know what works for my body. I know what I feel good with. I have my go-to things. I have all these things where it's just, honestly, at this point, it's really just mindless. I don't have to think about it. I heard, I don't actually know if this is ever true or not, but I heard this, so I'm just going to go with it. I think they said Steve Jobs only had white polo tees or whatever the hell it was in his closet because he was he didn't have to think about what he had to do that day. He had all these things to think about. He don't have to think about his fucking. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of how I look at it. I'm I don't got to think about anything. All of this is just mindless. I know it works and I stick to it because I don't. Again, I'm the type of person who I don't need this extravagant meals or things of that nature. I'm just whatever works, man. Let's do that, and why change it if it's working? So I think that for me it plays a big role at least.
What would you say if you had a client, or have you had a client that has come to you, wants to lose weight, never tracked calories before, but doesn't want to track calories? Very adamant and saying, you know what, Eric, I just don't want to track calories, but I want to lose weight. What would you say?
So I had this. I've had this a few times. I have one client who I'm still working with right now who we're actually in a powerlifting competition meet. He's got a meet in 3 weeks. I'm fucking pumped for it. So we actually did this where we started tracking. He kind of told me before, he was like, hey, just kind of being honest with you, I kind of have this background where tracking calories wasn't the best for me. And he was like, but I kind of want to try again and kind of see what's up. I'm like, all right, cool. We'll try. We got about 1-2 weeks in and we were just yeah, dude, fuck this. We're not doing this. Right. So what we did for him, and we really still do it to this day. First off, we started just tracking literally just portion sizes. And he just tracked how many palm-sized portions of protein, how many fistfuls of vegetables, and how many handfuls of carbs. That's literally all he tracked. And he lost a significant amount of body weight. He put on a significant amount of lean muscle mass, right? So, but here's my thing with people like that, and I don't want to generalize because I really hate doing this, but if you're not going to track calories, you need to be able to put in the effort, which sometimes is hard because if you're not willing to track calories, what I've seen sometimes is you're not willing to write down how many palm-sized portions of protein you had, or you're not willing to do this and you're not willing to do that. And if it's an effort standpoint, that's a fucking problem because you're going to have to put the effort in no matter what.
Right.
Maybe it's not tracking exact calories and weighing things in a food scale. Maybe it's not, but you're going to have to do something, right? Because what you're doing right now clearly is not working. So if somebody does, I haven't had a ton of people who have been very hey, I don't want to track calories. Most of my clients have. I could think of that guy, Dan. He's a fucking beast. And again, he still does it to this day. And actually, we're actually both together because we're best buds. We're going to go into a calorie surplus together when he's done his competition. Nice. And we're going to build some muscle. But we're going to do the same thing. We're not going to track calories and that kind of stuff. We're going to do the same concept. But my thing is just you don't have to track calories, but don't think that's going to get you out of doing the work. And that's why I think a lot of people don't want to track calories, because they don't want to put the effort in. The effort's going to have to be there fucking regardless. There's no fucking way around that. Like, you're not going to get around putting the effort into your nutrition. So like, whether you count calories or not, don't think just because you're not counting calories, you're not going to put the effort in, because you're not going to see any fucking progress. Yeah. So
the effort has to go into something. No, let's get riled up. I love it.
Let's fucking rumble, dude. All right.
The effort has to go somewhere. So if you're not putting the effort into tracking calories, you've got to put the effort into being more mindful with your food choices or your portion sizes or your mindless eating, your boredom eating, things like that. You have to be more mindful about your energy output. So your activity levels, your exercise, things like that. You can't just, we want fat loss magical pills. They don't exist. So
that's the thing.
We have to work towards it.
It's like you want these results, right? But you don't want to track. You don't know what a portion looks like. So, like you said, you're going to have to put some kind of effort somewhere. It's like, and I think you're going to actually put more effort in if you've never tracked before, because you end up spinning your fucking wheels.
And that just leads to more frustration. Yes. It leads to not seeing progress. Yeah. What's the most motivating thing is seeing fucking progress. How can I or you or anybody else as a coach or a client almost guarantee your progress is by fucking tracking calories, because that's what this comes down to. It's a calories in versus calories out equation. Okay, now that we know that, what's the most accurate way to ensure we see progress? Well, tracking your calories would be the most accurate way. And it's like, listen, like I would get sometimes it's like, well, I'm like, hey, did you track your, how many portions you had? Well, I kind of forgot to at lunch. And I'm like, you just look at your hand and then you say, I had this much fucking chicken. I'm like, if you can't do that, like, we got an issue. Like, we got an issue. We got to talk about something, right? Like, we got to make sure we find out what's going on, right? So it's like the effort's going to have to be there. And I just want people to, like, again, I want you to understand that. I don't care how you get to your result. It's really, it doesn't really matter to me, but the effort is going to have to be there. And if you're willing to put the effort in, like, let's fucking go. Like, at that point, we can rumble in a good way. Like, let's fucking go. Like, I'm down for that. But it's like the effort's going to have to be there no matter what.
Yeah.
Perfectly said. I love that. Great.
Totally.
and that's so what, somebody. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Matt. But somebody asked me before. They're like, "Hey, what do you look for in a client? Like, what's your idea?" And I'm like, I don't give a fuck if you're 400 pounds. I don't give a fuck if you're 200 pounds. I don't give a fuck if you're looking to be, like, I don't care. I just want to work. Like, let's work. Like, let's go. Like, let's put in some work. Let's put in some effort. Because I'm going to show up every single day. And like, my clients know I'm fucking good for it. Like, I'm going to show up every single day. I'm going to give you everything I got. I'm going to give you my energy. Like, I'm here. Like, let's fucking go. And like, so my thing to that is like, I don't care who you are or what's going on. Like, let's fucking work. And if you're down for that, like, let's rock then. And we can just fucking have fun and see progress. Not to say that there's not going to be tough times or difficult scenarios, of course, and we're going to work through those. But like, that's the whole point. You work through those. That's the whole work. You work through those, right? Because our work is the one variable that we can fucking control. We can't control so much in this life, but we can control how hard we work. And so like, that's kind of, it's a big thing for me. It's why I kind of talk about it a lot. I think, more people could benefit from honestly putting in more effort and honestly working hard, because it's like, and I get this to where people are like, they're having issues with like, Eric, but I am working hard. I'm like, Suzanne, like, we don't fucking track our calories for the past 6 weekends. Like, I understand, like, you feel like you're working hard, but like, we have to be very honest about what's going on here. Right. So it's like, and that's a whole, different conversation of itself, but I just wanted to kind of throw that out.
It's like they're in the diet mindset, but they're not doing it. Right. It's interesting to see.
I think that's because we're so conditioned, we're doing all these fad diets, right, that we literally don't have to do much. We can just drink this magical shake for 3 weeks and drop 30 pounds, and that's it. And they didn't have to change anything with their habits, nothing. But then of course they gain it all back right away. So really, did they accomplish anything? No, of course they didn't. But so I think that's where that stems from.
It's the slow and sustainable is not a shiny fucking object.
No, I mean, going back to like, even just like what we were talking about earlier, like, I've posted every day on TikTok every single day for the past almost 2 years, like fucking like 2 times a day, every single day. Like, it's not fun. Like, it's fun, but it's like, it's not sexy, right? It's like, that's every single day. Right. And like, same with Instagram, every single day. It's the consistent stuff day after day. That's like in the fucking weeds of like not being super cool, but it's like over time, all that shit adds up. So yeah, for sure.
Beautifully said. And that's a big thing is 80% consistency at least, right? Like if we're not hitting that goal, what we need to evaluate why we're not hitting that 80% consistency mark. Something's going
Yeah.
on. So.
Yeah, I always tell people, I'm like, hey, fucking 85 to 90. Because, like, it's almost like a speed limit. Like, 65 speed limit. People, motherfuckers are going 75, right? So it's like, same kind of thing with this. It's like, if you tell somebody 80, they're doing fucking 70, right? So it's like, hey, 85 to 90, shoot for that. But if they fall in 80, like, all right, cool. Like, we're kind of sweet there. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, but yeah, you're totally right. Like, and again, like, I talk often about work and stuff like that. Like, I don't need you to be like me where you like, I haven't missed a single day on this calorie deficit. Like, that's cool and all, but like, I don't want that for you, nor do you need to do that, right? But it's like, people have a hard time balancing effort, consistency, having fun, enjoying their life. It's like, yes, I want you to have fun and but we still have to hit our markers. We still have to hit our goals. We still have to practice that consistency. I can't have you eating donuts for breakfast every single day. Like it's just not going to be sustainable for you long-term because you're going to be too hungry. You're going to get hungry at night. You're going to overeat. You're not going to see progress. You're going to get frustrated, right? So it's like, that balancing game is tough for a lot of people, and it's hopefully why we can hopefully steer people in the right direction. But I think just understanding that, like, especially if you're somebody who's trying to make a change, like, you're probably going to have to be a bit more unbalanced in the direction of like being a bit more consistent and having I don't want to use the word restrictive. That's not what I mean, but just being more consistent than maybe I or you or somebody else, because like, it's almost like you said, Beth, when you build up a platform first, and you can kind of do what you want after that. It's almost like the same concept, right? Like we track calories first and we can kind of quote unquote intuitively eat after that, which like all those intuitively eating coaches are going to be mad about hearing that. But it's like you put that work in up front first. Yeah. You put that work in up front first. And then from there, you have a bit more wiggle room to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hot question then going into all of this is, where does alcohol play into all this? Because as we know, I know you, Eric, you mentioned you don't drink, and Beth,
it motherfucking doesn't. No.
That's a big factor for many people, especially like you mentioned on the weekends. Why are we not tracking on the weekends? We're probably going out drinking and eating shit 3 days or 2 days.
Yeah, it's here's what I'll say. I don't drink alcohol. Everyone always laughs, but like I stopped drinking alcohol like my senior week of high school. So when I was like 18, I know I wasn't allowed to drink then. I understand, but like I stopped drinking then, and for me, I just don't know a positive. Matt, I literally thought you were drinking a beer. I was like, holy shit, that's fucking hilarious.
Oh, that's too funny.
Oh, no.
Cheers.
Everybody listening, right? It's water. It's water, I promise.
Yeah, no, I was like, holy shit, he's just doing this right now. What a savage. I was like, no, but so I don't, for me, I just looked at it and I was like, what is the positive benefit that's coming from this? And like, I really broke it down to like, a more like scientific standpoint of like, why am I doing this? Like, am I doing this to have a good time? Like, can I not have a good time unless I like have to drink alcohol? Like, can I still have a good time and like enjoy my surroundings and enjoy my peers and enjoy my family? And like, why am I drinking alcohol? Am I drinking alcohol because I'm trying to, fit in or be a certain way? Or like, okay, that's not what I want to do either. So I really started breaking it down to like, why was I actually making the decision, right? And like when I broke it down, I was like, I don't want to, like at that point in my life, especially, I was like, fucking bodybuilding is absolutely everything. Let's just get jacked to the fucking gills. I was like, I want to build as much muscle as humanly possible, right? And alcohol is not going to help that for me. So I was like, I don't want that. And I actually, one of the main reasons I stopped was when I would drink the next morning, even if I wasn't hungover, I could tell I was off. I could tell my sleep is off. I could tell my recovery is off. I could tell I was more sore. And I was like, shit. I was like, I don't want to go bench 2 reps, 2 pounds or 5 pounds less or 2 less reps because I had drank that night. I was like, fuck that. Like, no way. Like, I want to bench 315 no matter what. So it was like, having those goals in place and really breaking down, like, why was I doing it? Like, I have a client right now. I have a few clients actually right now who, by the way, Beth, it started with my podcast talking about alcohol, and they listened to your podcast that we did talking about alcohol, and that's why they stopped drinking. So it's fucking really cool. Awesome. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. But I have amazing. These 2 clients come to mind for me. Their names are Riva and Jen, and they both have stopped drinking alcohol. They're like, Eric, I feel so much better. They're like, and their progress is fucking insane. Like, Riva just sent me her progress pictures, and they're fucking nuts. Wow. Like, they feel so good. Their workouts are through the roof, and they're like, and that's what they said. They're like, well, why why was I drinking? Like what? Like why was it like it was socially acceptable, and that was my like excuse or reason or whatever you want to call it. And it was like
Everybody else is
that's why I
doing
was
it.
doing that. Like, and they we talked about like kind of mapping their actions to their goals, which I think is a fucking really important thing. Where it's like you're talking all this hot shit about your goals, and you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to lose weight, you want to do that, like. Okay, where are your actions mapping though, darling? Like what's going on here? Because if your actions aren't mapping that, they really aren't your fucking goals, then are they? And so, we kind of just got serious about it. And they were like, I don't know why I was drinking. Like actually, Jen, for example, she's going on a trip soon as well, I believe to Mexico. And she's like, I'm not gonna drink. She's like, I don't see why I want to drink. I don't know why I'm gonna drink. I don't understand. And so it's like I think just getting very honest about why you're doing things. Now, can you drink alcohol and still lose weight? Absolutely. I think Jordan's going to do his cut where he's drinking alcohol, whatever, and that's awesome. Like I'm glad he's going to show people you can do that. But like I don't. But it's funny though because. And I'm not a knock on Jordan. Everyone knows I fucking love Jordan. But he was like, it's going to be harder because like my sleep's going to be worse and this and that. And I was like, well, like to me, I'm like, why would you drink then? I'm like, why would you drink if you know your sleep is going to be worse and if you know your performance is going to go down? It's like it's just I don't know. It's interesting to me. And I guess it obviously could be because, listen, they have fun and they enjoy it and so on and so forth. But it's like, it's just, just interesting to think about for me. And so you can absolutely still lose weight and drink alcohol. It's not like you can't. But let's be honest, it does make it harder. It does create another. I almost, like I said earlier, it puts you behind the 8 ball that much more, right? So it's like you're just, and this is hard enough as it is. And now you're making it harder. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, that's my thoughts on that.
If people would just
take the calories out of it that are in alcohol, the other effects that alcohol gives you, it's maybe you're eating more while you're drinking, or it's after the next day, less sleep, you're sluggish, your hormones are fucked, you're craving really fatty, salty foods, you're going to give into those things. It's all these other things. And Beth, I'm just going to have some great words here, I'm sure. So.
Oh, I was just saying, if people would actually just take 30 days, if you can't take you cannot take 30 days to reevaluate your relationship with alcohol, then you have a fucking problem. Like if you have a goal and your goal is being inhibited by your weekend drinking and you just can't fucking imagine not going into the weekends without drinking, but you want to reach a goal, give yourself a 30-day challenge. And if you can't do that, then you need to reevaluate your goals and your drinking.
Well, and go get help. Like, there's nothing wrong with going to get help. Like, there's nothing wrong with like saying, hey, you know what? Like, I might have to go get help for this, and I might want some extra help for this. Because again, I think you're right. If you can't not drink for 30 days, like there's a bigger issue at play here, right? Like, funny enough, I had one of my clients just do this in October. She was somebody who was drinking upwards of 20 alcoholic units per week. Like she was drinking a lot of alcohol. And October, she didn't drink and she saw progress and she felt great and all this stuff. And now I think she's down to like maybe 4 to 6 per week. And like, here and there, like whatever, like cool, absolutely fine. But she's like, wow. And it was almost like she was wowed at the fact that she had that much control over her life. Because when you're in that just drinking 20 units of alcohol per week, like you're not in control, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? Let's be honest with yourself. Like you're not in control. The alcohol is in control, which that's not a fun place to be, because at that point, if you're not in control, then how are you in control of your results? And if you're not in control of your results, how the fuck are you going to see results? Because you think it's out of your control, so you won't put in the extra effort necessary, like we talked about earlier, to then see your results. And so it's like, all those things kind of come into play.
Yeah. I also think there's a lot of adult peer pressure, which is funny because, we tell our kids, you don't have to do the same thing as Tommy does, but here we are, we can't even say fucking no to our friend who's like, no, you need to do another shot. We're like, okay. It's interesting.
I think that's so funny for me because I've always been just like the fuck off person. I'm like, hey, I literally just don't give a fuck. Like, leave me alone. Like, I'm not doing it. Right. So, but again, because it's like, Thanksgiving is coming up, for example, right? It's like, if you don't want to do something, or if you don't want to eat this, or you don't want to have that, it's like, what is that, like that individual putting that pressure on you? It's like, how is that decision going to impact your life, not their life, not your life in this certain moment in time, but outside of the moment in time. And that's where we have to like get to this mindset. Excuse me. I hope that didn't burp just because it didn't come too loud. But by the way, my assistant always yells at me because she says that's burping out loud. I'm like, that wasn't burping out loud. That was not burping out loud.
I hear nothing.
Okay, sweet. But she's like, stop burping out loud. I'm like, no, I didn't burp out loud. That's the whole point. I was like, that's the whole point of me doing that. It's because I didn't burp out loud. So whatever. Either way,
it was a hidden burp.
I mean, I don't know how else I'm supposed to burp though. I can't stop a burp. I mean, can you stop a burp? I don't even know if you can.
I don't know.
That'd be very uncomfortable. That'd be very uncomfortable.
Exactly
holding in a fart. I mean,
exactly. You don't want to do that either.
No. So listen. So I apologize, Linda, if you're
No
going to listen to
worries.
this, because I burped out loud. But where the fuck was I? I don't even know where. Honestly, I forgot where I was going with that.
We were.
What was I saying?
tirade
Oh, peer
about
pressure
alcohol.
decisions.
Yes,
Yeah. So if these people are making decisions for you, like that's how your life's going to turn out, and you can't be fucking pissed when that happens because again, we talked about are your actions mapping your goals? Like that's one question I would honestly tell everybody to ask themselves every single day when they go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Can you say every day you put your head in the pillow, you did everything you possibly could to get to your goals? And don't fucking bullshit me and don't bullshit yourself. That's the one thing for me every single day. It's what I ask myself every night when I go to bed. Did I do everything I possibly could to just make the best possible life that I can and get closer to my goals? And like, I don't want to leave any stone unturned because like that's just like, oh my God, it fucking eats away at me. Like it makes me fucking insane, right? It's like ask yourself, like, are you truly doing everything you can to make your actions map your goals? And again, I'm not saying you can't have fun or do this and do that, but again, are your actions mapping your goals? I think the more people that ask themselves that question, that's probably going to get you to where you want to be a lot quicker.
Yeah, I love
and
that.
a lot more less frustration.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I used to be a pretty big drinker. I don't drink much these days. I probably don't even have 1 or 2 drinks a week unless I'm doing something special. But
that's awesome.
I don't hang out with the same people I used to because of that. My life was literally just focused around alcohol before I got into fitness and everything. Now, and that's part of the reason why I like hiking so much is because you can't be drinking while hiking. At least not like doing anything like the hikes that I like to do where you're literally risking your life. So,
right.
Jesus Christ.
So you can't be.
You'd be surprised, Matt. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, true. But people die from drinking while hiking. So because of that, they slip and fall off a fucking mountain.
That's crazy.
Like you said, that's my action with meeting up with my goal, right? My goal is to be healthier and enjoy life. So my actions, I'm hiking as a result of that, and alcohol can't be part of that action because of that. So.
I honestly feel like alcohol is being brought up a lot lately.
It has been.
I feel like I've seen it everywhere. More people talking about how they're quitting alcohol or, whatever. Yeah, it's pretty cool, actually. I think the pandemic, when people just kind of like went into an alcoholic stupor, and now they're coming out of it. They're realizing like, holy fuck, like,
Yeah, and I think like, I do think like, as fitness, because I think fitness has exploded in the past 5, 10, 15 years. I think it's because of social media exploded even more. Because I think as that continues to explode, it's like, oh shit, like more people are following fitness people, and more people are in tune with fitness, and more people are listening to podcasts like this or podcasts like yours or whatever the case may be, right? And it's like, they're hearing about like why this person doesn't drink alcohol, why this person only drinks 1 or 2 drinks a week, why. It's like, okay, talking about like questioning what's your relationship with it and unpacking those things. And I think it's just like there's more conversation around it, whereas opposed to before it was like I'm a social drinker. It's like, okay, 8 beers every single weekend, you're like, I don't know, like you're not an alcoholic, but like that's more than social drinking, right? It's like there's more things going on there. So I think the absolute conversation around it, I think is honestly awesome. Yeah.
It's like we talked about with Susan when she was on our podcast. It's like you got to be honest with yourself. You got to stop, and you mentioned this too, stop bullshitting yourself. So if you're ready to have that conversation and confront that truth, then that's when you'll start seeing that change.
Agreed. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. I think that's a really good segue off of alcohol. Honestly, we could literally do like a whole series on that. And I did actually listen to your podcast, Eric, where you were talking about why you don't drink alcohol. And then I listened to Beth after that as well when she came on your podcast, which hopefully everybody does, because those are 2 really good episodes.
Thanks.
The reasons why is we drink alcohol.
Beth, what was Beth's like, oh, thank you so much. Like, that's
I didn't know you listened to it. Thanks.
Yeah, no, I did. Surprise.
That's awesome. Yeah, right. It's awesome.
Yeah, do my homework.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, yeah.
That's true.
Love it.
It's always great talking to you, Eric. Seriously.
Yeah. Amazing.
Just
Well, listen, the feeling is more than
just
mutual.
crushing it.
I'm trying to do something, man.
Other than getting through your cut and your vacation coming up soon, what's on your agenda over the next?
You deserve it, man.
Future. Obviously, I've been busting your ass, so
yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. What's on the agenda after that? Actually, it's funny. I actually just was. I had a walk this morning because I obviously had to get more steps, and I was being a total weirdo and just talking to myself the entire time, like out loud. That's what I do, by the way. I've been in like since I've been like 18, 19, it's been a lot of just like Eric by himself, right? Like I've lived by myself and I just do a lot of things by myself, which by the way, I think is a huge thing for like finding out how to actually be successful. It's like not being influenced by people, but that's a whole separate story. But it's like, I was on a walk today and I was talking to myself and, there's some things I have in the horizon where I'm kind of excited about. I want to continue to just, obviously just keep growing and keep getting better. There's certain areas where I want to improve. Obviously always want to improve as a coach. I want to, make sure one of the biggest things for me right now is like I have an assistant coach who takes on one-on-one clients as well. And one of her big goals is to leave her current job because she has a job right now. She's up to a good amount of online coaching clients though. And I want to get her to be able to like feel comfortable leaving her job to do this full time. I think that would be just one of the coolest fucking things in my life to do. Like that's just, oh man, that makes me so pumped. And so that's a big thing for me right now. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, to have somebody leave their job and like do what they love every day. Oh man, like that just makes me so fucking happy. So definitely that's on my mind. There's some other goals I'm going to probably come up with in terms of like social media goals and stuff like that. Want to keep doing I love my podcast. I want to keep doing the podcast. I want to keep growing my clubhouse. It's kind of like my group coaching program as well. So I want to keep growing that in 2022 as well. And just a few different things, but honestly, just getting way better. Cause when I it's hard. It's almost like fat loss, right? Like I feel like I'm so in it, but when I take a step back, it's only been like I said, March of 2020 is when I really started to go like full force, like in depth with this. And it's like it's not that long of a time, right? So it's like it really hasn't been that long of a time. So I just want to keep getting better and keep learning new things and keep growing and keep hopefully trying to make a as positive of an impact as I possibly can and like just kind of see what happens from there. Yeah.
It's like it's only been a year or so, and imagine where you're going to be in 5 years. It's like that's insane to think about, right?
1 year's a blip on the radar.
Yeah.
And so it's fun. But it's also like I often think about it's like right now, like, and this could be just the paranoid in me, but it's like we have eyes on us, right? So it's like for me, it's like I want to make sure I maximize. Like I just want to make sure I just fucking like do the best I possibly can and like put out the most content and do this and do that and like. Is that detrimental to my mental health sometimes? Maybe, I don't know. But it's like, while we have the opportunity, it's like, I want to make the most of it. Because who knows? I mean, people in 5 years will be like, who the fuck is that guy Eric? Like, who the fuck knows? And probably not going to happen, right? But it's like, I don't know what's going to happen, right? So I just want to make sure I'm very big on like just maximizing what we can do right now and like just, setting very action-based goals and doing those actions every single day and getting them done. And just, I think two big things for me, which I haven't told many people this, by the way. So I think one big thing for me is like eventually I want to help other coaches because I remember when I was like an in-person trainer, I didn't get dick, man. Like I didn't get dick. And they were just like, oh, sell this and sell that. And I was like, you guys are fucking awful. Like legit terrible. Like this is just the worst thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. And I think there's so many coaches out there like what Jordan and Mike do where they can help people. So eventually down the road, I might want to do that. I also, and again, this is one of the first times I'm saying this out loud, but like I had a conversation with one of my clients the other day and because she was like, Eric, you are 25, you're a male, like you're so, emotionally intelligent, these kind of things. And I don't like to give myself compliments, but this is what she was telling me. And she was like, how did you get like that? And I was like, I don't know, but like, I do think like in today's time, I do think like we need more like real men who are, and I don't mean real men where it's like, oh, you're burly, they're like, cool, like that's whatever. But it's like, we need like my dad, for example, for me is like my biggest, like he is just like my guy. Like that's the thing. He's the person I want to be. He's always been so kind. I've seen him like treat people so well, be such a good human being, be so patient, be so kind, be so caring. And like the way he interacts with people and like the way he treats people, it's like, it's just like, that's how I think like, especially men should be. Right. So it's like, I don't know how that's going to come to fruition, but hopefully down the line somewhere, hopefully that can just, whether it's just through my actions, just through as a human being or whether it's something else, I'm not sure of yet, but that's definitely interesting to me as well, where it's like eventually again, maybe 10, 15, 20 years from now, it's like, I don't know, that idea could be bounced around or again, it could just be done through, my actions as a human being. But yeah, that's kind of interesting to me as well.
That's amazing. I love that. That's a really good aspiration right there. That's much needed, especially in our current climate. So I'm behind that for sure.
Yeah.
More people need to have that attitude.
Yes, 100%. So lead by example, and then the other stuff you can work on that too.
Yeah.
For people listening, where can they find you on the socials if they want to reach out for help or ask you questions or anything? What's the best ways to do that?
Yeah, I mean, so it's probably just like Eric Roberts Fitness everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, podcast is Eric Roberts Fitness Podcast. YouTube is probably just my name, Eric Roberts.
He says probably.
EricRobertsFitness.com. Yeah, I know,
Okay.
right? Yeah, probably. Yeah, just search, just do one quick Google search of Eric Roberts Fitness, and you'll find my beautiful mug on there. My beard, which by the way, Matt, I don't know if you get this, but everyone always rags on my beard like nonstop, and so like I'm like, dude, can you just leave me alone about my fucking beard?
Really?
Like, I'll grow it out eventually.
They either love it or hate it, and they attack my hair all the time too. I just got a haircut, so it's not really that long right now.
Oh my god, I love beards.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's where. And again, I'm always trying to help however I possibly can. So if you want to shoot me a message, I'm here, man. I'm here, and I'm willing to help however I can.
Woohoo!
Dude, thanks for your time today.
Woohoo.
Thank you.
Thank you guys,
Eric.
man. It was fun. Of course, Beth. It was fun, man. It was fun, guys. I appreciate you a ton, and you guys are doing fucking awesome. Like, again, I think we just need more people like you motherfuckers here. Like, seriously, like, the amount of, I had somebody recently reach out to me, and they were like, hey, they searched something on Google and found me. They're like, hey, your calorie thing said eat this, but my dietitian told me to eat 1,100. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm like, so we just need more people like you guys out there. So I really appreciate. I mean, I think it's just fucking awesome for sure.
Thanks, man. The feeling is mutual for sure.
Yes.
You keep doing your thing. It's amazing.
Appreciate that, guys.
All right,
man.
Bye, Eric. We'll talk to you.
All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
Bye. And that is a wrap for this episode of Cut the Crap with Beth and Matt. Did we help you cut through the bullshit? We want to know. Send us a DM on Instagram and share your thoughts. We'd love to hear them. And if you did find this one helpful, why not share this episode with a friend? I know I personally love it when a friend shares their favorite podcast with me, along with a text saying, oh my God, you have got to check out this podcast. You'll love it. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss future episodes.